Yeah, Menachem, thank you for joining us.
Of
I
course,
understand.
happy to be here.
Yeah, um, from the front lines. So first, let's give a little background. I know Menachem. We were in yeshiva together in Muncie, New York. Menachem, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Because you weren't born in
All
Israel.
right,
You
I
volunteered.
was not. Yeah, so my name is Menachem Drew. I'm originally from Muncie, New York. I was born and raised in New York until I was 17, 18. As you said, I went to yeshiva in Muncie for 3 years, and I did another year of yeshiva in Connecticut. So that's where I know the rabbi from. We were in yeshiva together for a year. He was one of my shluchim. After that, I came to Israel to do a year of study here in a pre-military program. Um, and then after that, I came with the intention to draft. That's why I went to the school that I went to. From there, that's where I learned my Hebrew. I got knowledge of Israeli culture, everything. From there, I drafted to Tzamchanim, the paratroopers. What's called Chetz Company. It's the religious unit inside the paratroopers. And then from there, I did 8 months of basic training. And then we finished training. We went into another training cycle as part of the unit. We were supposed to do that for 4 months and then get deployed to the West Bank for 4 months. But as everyone knows, October 7th happened. We happened to be in the West Bank doing some stuff there for a bit. October 7th happened. Right away, we were sent down south. We went down to the border. We helped strengthen it, looking, doing whatever we had to do down there. And then since then, we've been training, ready to go in whenever we need.
Right. So maybe if we could back up a little bit. So just wondering, you're right. You're from America. So what inspired you to join the IDF?
So the first time I really thought about it, I'd come to Israel for the first time for a summer. I spent 2 weeks first with my grandparents, traveling around Israel with them, and then I did a summer program in Tzfat. And that was the first time I'd come to Israel, and I really, really fell in love with the land. I felt deeply connected as a Jew. And I'd met some people who were very influential who'd raised the question, why don't you come and draft? Why don't you make Aliyah? That was the first time I'd really thought about it. And then the following year, I came back to Israel for the summer. I did another program, this one based out of Jerusalem. And it was a lot more hands-off. So you were able to walk around the city and explore for yourself. And I really, really fell in love with the country, the people, everything. And I really felt the strong connection. It was around then that I decided, I think 15 at the time, that I said, there's no way that I can't come back here. And I'm going to draft to that EF. And then I came back and I continued with my studies in New York. But I always I would tell my parents, I'm going to go back, I'm going to draft. I can't wait. It's something I feel I have to do. And then once I felt like the time was right, I came to Israel. I spent the year, like I said, just getting used to the culture and learning Hebrew and everything to make sure that it was really something I'd wanted to do. And that just fortified my decision to draft. I'd also come with the intention that I was going to draft, do my service, and then come back to the United States and live my life there. And in that year, I really, really fell in love with the land and Israel and everything. And I made the decision as well to make Aliyah and to live here.
right.
So yeah, I would say it's from the first time I ever came from Israel.
Wow. So you say you speak fluent Hebrew now? That's part of being in the army. You have to speak Hebrew, fluent Hebrew.
Yeah, so we actually have a lot of lone soldiers from all over in my specific unit. I would say out of most of them, I have a more fluent Hebrew because of the time I spent here. So me and my fluent Hebrew, I do have a pretty strong American accent though. But yeah, even if you came without speaking fluent Hebrew to the army, right away you're thrown into the environment where you have to, and you just gain it. Like I have some friends who came with almost no Hebrew, and now they speak fluent Hebrew. And yeah.
Right. So how does that feel in regards to I guess your family is further away, or how do you keep in touch? And what do you feel about that?
So I try to call them as often as I can, whether it's every day, every other day. It always depends on what's happening, what our schedule's like. Sometimes we'll be out in the field and I won't have my phone for a week. But whenever I can, I try and call them and FaceTime them and, stay in touch and see what's happening with them and let them know what's happening with me. And yeah, so I was able to go home right before the war for a month, which is really nice, and see my family. My family's come and visited me a couple of times. They come for all my ceremonies, which was really meaningful. When I swore into the army, when I finished training, which was always really nice. But yeah, sometimes it gets difficult knowing that, like, your family's far away and you're stuck here, and sometimes it might be difficult in the army, which it's the army, but like as a lone soldier, sometimes it's a bit more difficult. You feel a bit low, you feel a bit left out. But then again, like, you get reminded of why you came and what you're doing here and why it's important. It helps, and thank God I have a lot of really good friends. I drafted with a bunch of really good friends, and there's a bunch of organizations that really help you, make you feel like you have a family here. So for the most part, you really don't feel like you're missing anything.
Right. Okay. So I understand that. So you're saying you just finished training. Like, how long ago did you finish training before this war began?
I finished all my combat training about 2.5, 3 months ago. Considered full-fledged soldiers in the unit, but the way the IDF non-wartime is, it's a cycle. So in the infantry unit, you'll do a 4-month training cycle with your wherever 4 months deployment, wherever it can be. You can be in the West Bank, you can be on the Gaza border, the Syrian border, the Lebanese border, wherever it is, and you keep cycling through. You do training and deployment. So the way it fell out for me is I finished my combat training to become a soldier. I then went up to and joined my unit as a combat soldier in the unit, and we went into the training cycle for 4 months. And we had about a month left to that when the war happened. But also, it's very fluid. Like, we were supposed to be doing training, and then they said, okay, for the next month, we're gonna need to put you in the West Bank. We need we just need more people there. So we actually happened to be active duty at the time when the war broke out. So we were able to respond very quickly. Yeah.
And you mentioned that you're a paratrooper. Also, that's higher training, and that's
Yeah. So there's 5 basic infantry units in the army. Paratroopers being one of them. But besides first being considered a basic infantry unit, we have, what's different for us is we have a tryout before you drop to the paratroopers. You have to do a physical tryout, and you have to do an interview to get accepted, which gives it a bit more of I wouldn't say elite status, but like it separates us from the rest. And a lot of people, there's the consensus that our training is slightly harder. We do more, and we specialize in a couple more things. So it definitely is a bit more than just regular infantry.
right. So you are the friends that you're with now in the IDF. So they're in your unit. Like, you're still in touch with them, or how does it work with the friends that you like originally enlisted with, or you make new friends?
So I originally drafted with 6 lone soldiers as well. One of them went to a separate course. He went to go become a sergeant in the IDF, so he's no longer in my unit. The rest of us were all still together. And then obviously I have all the friends that I made afterwards, all the Israelis that I drafted with and then got to know throughout training. And then the rest of my friends that we drafted around the same time, we all ended up in different places in the army. We'd see each other on like Shawatot or whatever it was, or we'll like send messages from time to time and just try to stay in touch as much as possible.
Right. Okay. That's good to hear. So I guess now coming to the current situation with this war, which no one wanted, but how are you feeling with this whole war, especially being a lone soldier? Well, I guess with all the support you have, what's you feeling so far with the whole war? And like, did you know enlisting that maybe a war is always possible? And how do you feel now that you're part of the army and there's a serious war going on?
So obviously when I drafted, I'd never really thought that there would be a war. Every couple of years there's a war in Israel. Unfortunately, the Lebanese war and Gaza and everything, but it was never at the front of my mind that I would be in the army at the time that there was a war. I thought I'd do a year and a half in the army, maybe be in the West Bank for a couple of months, and that's it. I would have done my service and moved on with my life. I never thought that I would be here while there was a war. But now that it happened, I really do feel like I have the scoop to take part in this war, do my part to defend my country. And with regards to the war in general, obviously, none of us had ever wanted this war. But now that what happened on October 7th happened, it's now our turn to finish it. And the morale here is very high. Like I said, for myself, my unit, my friends, everybody. First couple of days, it was very low. We were seeing the news and seeing everything that happened. We're talking to friends who were involved, and it was horrible. This like what we were hearing and seeing. But once we started getting training, getting ready, and we sat down, we spoke with each other. We realized that this is a schut for us, that we have the special privilege to take part in this, and to go defend our country. So morale is very high, and everybody's very willing and ready to do whatever it is that we are sent to go do.
So is there anything you guys are doing to like keep the moral high? Like I see some videos of like, concerts or different things that are going on. Is that happening by you or?
Yeah, so I think it was last week maybe we had a Omar Adam concert. Whoever knows that is, he's a very very popular Israeli artist. So he came and did a concert for us, and that was amazing. The morale was boosted like through the roof. Everybody was super super into it. It was an amazing experience. It was really special that he came and did that for us. As well as we have rabbis that like are connected with our unit. They'll come and they'll do a barbecue for us, and they'll come talk to us and whatever it is. We actually had a barbecue last night and the night before, which that was really nice. It always helps to have like a nice meal, sit down with friends, and be able to take your mind off everything for a bit. So yeah, the army really is trying to make sure that the morale is still high by doing these small things. Even also, like the citizens of Israel, they're constantly sending us like food and snacks and gear, clothing, and everything. And just to see the kind of support that we received from everyone else, it really really like helps you raise your morale and realize like we're doing is important.
Okay, wow. Um, I guess a side question. So it would be, we're here in Topanga. What would be your message to like the community here in Topanga, who there's also we're feeling for you in this whole war, and there's also some anti-Semitism in America. Topanga's a little bit is a safer community, but on social media, what would be your message to people who are feeling maybe a little bit worried about the whole situation? How to keep positive? What would be your message for us Americans?
Um, so I haven't been in America since the war started, obviously, but I have all my family's back there and a lot of my friends. And I can see social media everything that's happening. I would say one thing is stand strong and proud to be a Jew. That's the biggest thing, because look back in history. Anytime a Jew has stood strong and showed that they were proud to be Jewish and everything, it leaves an effect on the people. And so, as much as yeah, there is anti-Semitism in the U.S., and whether you feel it less or more, obviously it is a very scary thing. Um, but really, just stand strong and be proud that you're Jewish. Whether it's wearing a kippah, if that's what you connect to, or an Israeli flag, whatever it is that helps you, make you feel proud and strong to be a Jew, then go do that, because that's what's going to help you push through it. And it'll show to others that you're not afraid. You don't want to show you don't want to show them that. So if you can show them that with whatever anti-Semitism you're seeing, that it doesn't affect you and you can move past it and you're stronger than that, then I would say that's one of the most important things, because that for yourself will really help, and it'll show to others that they can't affect you that way.
Yeah, it's especially I think the unity that we're one family. We're here to support each other. Like what you're doing, where we're totally supportive of you. We're behind you, and any positivity that you have, kind of you're giving us the energy. And we're trying to give that energy back, that positive energy back. That you could do what you have to do, and we're very inspired by what you do, and full support.
Thank you.
That you have me and any Jew in America. You have our full support. We're here with you. Anything you
Thank
need,
you.
Menachem, we're really here for you. Um, I guess before we end off, is any other inspirational stories or any personal stories that you wanted to share with joining the IDF so far, or any messages you want to leave us off with?
So any personal stories? Like I personally haven't done a lot of deployment, because it's just the way my cycle fell out. But even if it was going home in uniform and a little kid looks up to you and like they express their like thanks and their gratitude, and everybody coming, and it happens a lot. People come to the street and they say thank you, and it shows how much they really appreciate soldiers. Or I know for me in my unit, we were having a field week, and it happened to be one of our tougher ones. It really took a toll on everybody. The third day in, our morale was really low. It was towards the end of the day, and we had already walked like 15, 20 kilometers. People were just tired. And everyone's whatever, and we were supposed to have meal time. So the way it works is 1/3 gets to eat, and the other 2/3 they have to go and set up a perimeter. So we're all lying down, setting up this perimeter, and everyone's just exhausted. We're tired, and we're in a bad mood. Nobody wants to be doing it, and you start questioning yourself, like, did I make the right decision wherever it was? And it happened to be maybe 500 feet away from where we happened to be. There was a kibbutz there, and we can see little kids playing and laughing. And somebody like mentioned it, like they have no idea that we're even here, 500 feet away, all of us, suffering and training just to make sure that they can do that. They get to go, and that these little kids get to go live their life. And it really like gave a focus to everyone that like what we're doing here is important. And not everybody has the opportunity to go do what we're doing. So for other people who aren't in the army or whatever, is find something small that you can look at yourself and be proud of what you're doing and say, this is my little bit to help the world. This is my little bit to help my community, my little bit to support us, or whatever it is that'll help you stand strong and stand tall about yourself. Then focus on that. Focus on that small thing.
Right. Okay. And I would say that it's not just a little bit what you're doing; it's a lot of it, and it's very, very important. And we actually feel it. We feel it from here. You know, the support that you're doing. So, if there's a way that we could support you and your unit and the war from afar, from Topanga, what would you suggest? What would be the best way to do that?
So there's a couple ways to support. There's the you could be having us in mind in your prayers. Sending letters to soldiers is a big thing. I know we all love getting letters from people saying, showing their support. So that's one way. Or if you were looking for more physical way of supporting soldiers financially, like units financially with gear, thank God my unit, we thank God got taken care of with everything we need. But there's other units that don't have all the gear they need, and it can really take a toll on them. So I would say if that's one way that you want to help, look into finding ways to financially support soldiers to get the gear they need, whether it's winter gear or it could be whatever it is that they're missing and needing. That could really change a soldier's life.
All
really
right.
help us.
Okay. And we'll have you all in mind in our prayers, and we're here with you. All right. I think we lost him. Okay, yeah, sorry, we're back with you, Menachem. All right, so as you were saying.
So yeah, there's a bunch of different ways to really support the financial, just having this in mind in your prayers or sending letters, whatever it is, however you can find a way to support soldiers, then go and do that, because it really means the most to us, knowing that there's people everywhere throughout the world supporting us.
All right. So if we want to send a letter to you or to your unit, someone to your unit, what's the best way? Everyone has their own like unit mailbox, or
one is through email. You can, let's say if you want to send one to my unit or multiple people, email, and I can print it and spread it out throughout to all the soldiers. WhatsApp is a big one. People do send physical letters, but that I don't really know how that works to get specific units. You'd have to have someone like hand deliver it usually. But yeah, you can always email it or WhatsApp it, and then it can get spread around that way.
Okay, great. Okay. Well, thank you, Menachem, for joining us, and we're here to support you all the way. And yeah, it's really inspirational what you're doing, and kol hakavod,
Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Okay, Menachem, hatzlacha, stay safe, and we're having you in mind in our prayers.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. All right. Thank you, Menachem.